Alright guys, so we are starting a new project. So with the coronavirus and all the math that's involved in talking about it, we thought it'd be a great idea if we could do a project the being super relevant, okay? So we got this cool graphic here on the back that I got off of this website, just to give it credit. And probably later on we'll give you guys a web address to it so that you can go check it out. It's really cool, the stuff you can look at. But we're going to do this project, and so we've got a few videos to kind of help you guys move along. Make sure you know what you're doing since you're not able to come ask us in person to get that help, okay? So there's two ways you can do this. One way would be to do a packet, okay? The other way to do it would be with the using Canvas, which it'll be up and running on that by the time you're watching this video. So either way you do it, I would suggest the Canvas is probably the easiest way to do it when you're at home. You don't have to come to the school to pick anything up or do anything like that. But if you do have to get the packet, you can come and grab that as well. And check to see when the school is open. They have emailed that out to everybody, those days and times that they're going to be open. Okay, but either way you do it, you're going to get the same instructions, you're doing the same stuff. So in these videos, we're going to kind of approach them in both ways, doing it electronically as well as doing it on paper. Okay, and you can kind of do a combo of that, and as you submit things, you can take pictures, email them to yourself so you can put it up on the Canvas and go from there. Okay, so first thing to note, so after this the first units we did 6.1 to 6.5, right, and took a quiz with that. So, and that took us to about March 30th, right? So this one is working for the next 2 weeks, okay? We're going to give you guys 2 weeks. We want you to put some good effort into this, okay? Now, in between this is spring break, so that's that's why these dates are like this. So we're hoping that you're able to get this done by 4/17. Okay, this will definitely help you get a pass in our class for this term. Okay, now we've got it all laid out in 2 steps. So whether you have the paper or whether you're using Canvas, we've got it set up into multiple steps. Okay, so we'll have part 1, which is going to deal a lot with some stats here. Okay, and reviews on linear and exponential equations, okay? And so we'll talk about, remind us how to do some of this stuff. This stats we're going to be doing is pretty basic, and I believe you guys should have at least dealt with some of it. If not, we've got these videos to help, okay? And then another one that's going to deal with toilet paper. Should be pretty fun, okay? So, thing for those using the paper version, your packet, you should have all the copies printed out that you need. The scatter plots, the questions, all that kind of stuff, the data, because we are providing you guys with some data that we pulled off the internet that should be fairly accurate and up to date as much as possible. So you should have everything on that, and you should be able to turn it into your teacher however they want you to, whether that's bringing it to school and dropping it off or emailing them copies of it scanned or pictures or anything like that, okay? So, the thing with Canvas, we've been having some issues with people who are not being able to unlock things, okay? So, a few things to notice here. You've got to complete each step one at a time, okay? As soon as you complete that step, then you are able to move on to the next. If you don't fully complete the step, you're not going to get started. Now, it also has a first opening page that says Start Here, okay? So on Canvas, that's where you're going to click first, right? And then you'll pull up this one, okay, which kind of, again, gives us that same information that those we're getting here, okay? So, and then on every slide or every page, you're going to see we've got the other steps and everything to go off of, okay? So, should be enough to go with. So you should have this information. You should be either logged into it and watching this video already on Canvas, or you're watching the YouTube version of it, and so you can kind of grab your stuff and follow along to know what you're doing. Okay, so step 1 here. We all know that the novel coronavirus here, let's get this pulled up high enough, we've got the novel coronavirus here in Utah, okay? And we know that it is spreading fast throughout Utah, but how fast? Okay, so we're going to use the data we found in the table here to create a scatter plot. So everybody's doing the same on this one, okay? Notice you need to make sure that if you're doing the packet at home, you've got the scatter plot that says scatter plot of Utah, okay? If you're not at home, then, if you're not at home, wow. If you're not using the packet, if you are doing this online, okay, you can do this using Desmos, and I'll show you how to do it on Desmos after we do it by hand, okay? So everybody, we've got the latest numbers for Utah that we can grab. This may be slightly different by the time this comes out. If so, it'll probably start basically the same, okay? Now, the thing is, I'm not going to do this one for you guys, okay? So I've decided let's get rid of Utah there. So the example I'm going to use here is from Portugal, okay? These numbers should be accurate for Portugal, though. So I pulled them off a good website, and we can see that it's got some more days on it because we've been tracking it a little bit longer than here at Utah, okay? So this is step 1, so make sure you label these correctly as step 1 or step 2, okay? So all we're doing first is we're going to create a scatter plot, okay? And a scatter plot, remember, has 2 items that we're going to just plot, and we just plot these points. So our table here gives us the points, right? So day 0, we had 2 cases. Day 2, we're counting by 2s, we had 4 cases, and so on. Okay, so all we need to do is go here, and I forget my picture doesn't go up with it very well. Okay, so we need the label. Now, generally speaking, days or time is always going to be the x-axis, which would mean, total number of cases is going to be our y-axis, okay? Now, we're labeling, so you may want to label here, 0, we're counting by 2, so you might as well label that way to save space. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and you can, skip some. 20, 30, okay? I hope I'm not making mistakes here. Okay. Okay. Then the way you're gonna have to decide how you want to label your y-axis. Okay, because depending on how many cases there are, that's going to determine. Okay, if you have more cases, you're going to have to count further. So let's kind of see how many lines we've got here. So if I'm looking at that and counting the lines, now let's take a look at how we're going to do it online. Okay, so you won't really be able to see my mouse working, and that's kind of primarily what I'm using. So I'll just kind of talk you through it. First thing we need to do is we need to go to Desmos. So you can type in Desmos if you want. Now, if you're using a tablet or even a phone would be kind of hard, but if you're using a tablet especially, you can easily download the app, okay? And you can use it that way, okay? Now, you want to go up here to the upper right where it says Start Graphing. Click on that, okay? And then it pulls up kind of your standard format. Now, a few things before we actually start putting in our data, okay? First thing you want to do is you want to adjust what you see, okay? And once I get the data in, and maybe it'd be better to put in the data first. Yeah, let's do that first actually. Then I can get rid of my table. Okay, now, again, if you're doing this for step 1, you are doing Utah's numbers, okay? So your numbers should be different than mine. So don't just copy down mine and try to do it exactly the same as I do it. You'll have to use a little bit of your own brain too to help you with Utah, okay? So, if we go up here to this plus sign where it says Add Item, okay, click on that. We want to go down and add a table, okay? So, now we notice we've got the X here, which our X's are days, right? You can see that over here. Our X's are days, and the days should all kind of be similar. Though you don't have to use them if you're not Like if Utah doesn't go quite down to 30 days yet, does it? So I can go, if I wanted to, I could even fill in all of those first. And I'm just using my keyboard and typing in the numbers, pressing down, and I can just go until I get to 30. Forgot what it was after 24. Okay, so I've got 30, and then I'm going to go fill in my Y value, which is my total number of cases. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 9, 13, 21, 30, 39, 61, 112, 245, 786, 1,280. You don't have to put the commas in there. In fact, I wonder if let's try a comma in there and see what happens. See, it doesn't like the comma. So just put the numbers 2362, and for 30, 2995. Okay. Now, if we look at that, we can definitely see that we don't have all of our numbers in there. Okay. So we're done with this. So let's scoot that off, and let's go from here. Okay. All right. So what I need to do is I need to adjust my window on the right, don't I? Okay. To do that, first thing I want to do is go up to the top where we see that graph settings right there. Click on that. I like to put it in projector mode. You don't have to, but things show up darker. I like that. Okay. I'm also going to turn off my minor grid lines, okay, because I don't like those. Now, I'm going to tell it how to do it. So down here where it says x-axis and y-axis, okay, I can even add a label. So the x-axis we knew was days, and y-axis will say total cases. Okay, so that's kind of cool. Now, what's the least amount of x we can have? Well, ours goes up to 30, from 0 to 30. I like to put in a -1 though, just so I at least can see and I may adjust this as well. But then I want to go probably up to around 30. Maybe we'll go to 35. Now this step over here tells you how big. See how it jumps from 0 to 10 here? Okay, on my graph. If I type in 1, okay, it's going to make it, should have done better than that. Well, that's weird. Maybe I do need my minor grid lines in there for this. Okay, so let's click and I did a step of 1. Okay, or maybe I could even do step of 2, huh? Okay, there we go. If I do it by 2s, which is probably what I should do since we're counting by 2s over here on our table, right? Counting by 2s here. Okay, so now we do our y-axis. So this one, ours is going a lot higher, isn't it? And we go nearly to 3,000, so I'm probably going to want to go up a little past 3,000. So maybe I'll do 3,200. Okay, we can already see it's helping us see a lot more of our stuff. So my y-axis, maybe I'll do -100, just to kind of keep it there as well. And my step by counts, let's see, I did 100 each time. So maybe we do 100 each time again, or maybe 200. Looks like 200 would be better to see here. And you can play around with that to see what works for you, okay? So, and I can zoom in and zoom out here, like using this and that, or using the mouse scroll. So you kind of want to get it so you can see it a little better. Okay, I kind of like it like that. Okay, all right, so there's our scatter plot. So that's all we had to do, right? So there we go, guys. Now, if you wanted to, you could hit this edit list, and you could change your colors. Maybe I want them to be red, maybe orange, one of my daughter's favorite colors, maybe purple. I can even make them look like different things, okay? I can have them connect the lines if I really wanted to, and I could even make my lines look like that, or I could be able to drag them, okay? If I drag them, I can go and pick one of my points and like completely mess around with it. Problem is with that is then it messes around with your actual data, okay? So as you can see, it's changing my data. So probably don't want to do that, do I? So 22, and it was 786. There we go. So honestly, you don't need to Like if it were me, I would take it off the line and I would make it so I can't drag. Apparently I can get rid of the points as well. Okay? So, looks something like that. Then you can take a screenshot of your picture. You can even like hide the table so you can see it better. Okay, if you wanted to, you take a screenshot of that and boom, there we go. Okay? All right, guys. That should be enough to do step 1 of this project, okay?